The subtle art of not The subtle art of not giving a fuck. A structural deconstruction, Mark Manson. Start here. Why this book was necessary. This book exists because modern society created a psychological contradiction. We told people they can be anything, but we did not tell them what to sacrifice. Unlimited possibility without guidance produces anxiety, not freedom. This book is not about indifference. It is about constraint. And constraint is the foundation of meaning. The real subject of the book, not what the title says. The title is provocative, but misleading on purpose. The real subject is not caring. It is selective commitment. Human energy is finite. Attention is finite. Emotional capacity is finite. Most people suffer not because life is hard, but because they are overinvested in trivial metrics. Approval, status, comfort, avoidance of discomfort. The book is an argument for value triage. The first hidden thesis, suffering is the default state. Most self-help books treat suffering as a bug. Mark Manson treats it as the operating system. This is crucial. Pain is not evidence that something is wrong. Pain is evidence that something is being demanded of you. The book quietly asserts something radical. A life without problems is psychologically impossible. So the real question becomes, what problems justify your existence? Why positivity is intellectually lazy? The book is often misunderstood as anti-positivity, but that's not precise. It is anti-unearned optimism. Optimism without structure produces fragility. Why? Because when pain arrives, the person assumes, I'm failing at life. The book reframes suffering as inevitable feedback, not personal deficiency. This is not motivational. It is existentially stabilizing. Values, the core mechanism, people don't understand. This is where most summaries fail completely. Mark Manson is not teaching attitudes. He is teaching value hierarchy design. Every decision you make answers one question. What matters enough to suffer for? If your values are pleasure, validation, ease, then suffering feels humiliating. If your values are responsibility, growth, honesty, then suffering feels meaningful. Same pain, different interpretation, completely different life. The paradox of freedom. Modern culture equates freedom with options. The book argues the opposite. Freedom comes from commitment. Why? Because commitment narrows choice, and narrowed choice reduces anxiety. People who don't give a fuck are not detached. They are anchored. They know what they stand for, so everything else becomes background noise. Responsibility without moral theater. This is one of the most intellectually mature parts of the book. Responsibility is not about guilt, it is about agency. The book removes moral drama and replaces it with pragmatism. You didn't choose your trauma. You didn't choose your circumstances, but you choose your response trajectory. This is uncomfortable because it removes excuses. And people mistake discomfort for cruelty. But psychologically, this restores control, the illusion of specialness. The book dismantles the idea that you are destined for greatness, not to degrade you, but to dissolve performance anxiety. When you believe you are special, failure becomes identity-threatening. Criticism becomes catastrophic. Comparison becomes constant. When you accept ordinariness, effort becomes lighter. Growth becomes quieter. Integrity becomes the metric. This is emotional minimalism, pain as a decision filter. The book reframes pain as a sorting mechanism. Every path includes pain. The intelligent move is choosing pain aligned with your values. Discipline hurts. So does stagnation. Honesty hurts. So does self-betrayal. The book is asking which pain compounds, which pain decays. Death is not morbid here. It's strategic. Mortality is introduced as a cognitive constraint. If time is limited, attention must be curated. If attention is curated, values become unavoidable. You cannot give a fuck about everything. So adulthood is choosing what deserves your concern. This is not nihilism, it is precision. What the book is quietly teaching, but never says explicitly. The book is training emotional resilience, value clarity, tolerance for discomfort, Rejection of external validation as a primary compass. It is not a rebellion book. It is a discipline book disguised as irreverence. Why most readers still miss the point. They focus on tone, not structure. They quote lines instead of redesigning their value system. They try to care less instead of caring more intelligently. That's why the book feels shallow to people who don't apply it deeply. The real application, no exercise, is just reality. Ask yourself, what do I willingly tolerate pain for? What discomfort am I avoiding that aligns with my values? If no one praised me, what would still be worth doing? Those answers are your real philosophy. You don't need thicker skin. You need clearer values. And once values are clear, most things stop deserving your emotional energy. That is the real subtle art.